Hello students, welcome back to the class. So the last class we have discussed about Election Commission of India, power and functions of Election Commission, and some point of composition we have discussed. So in this class we will continue the same topic, power and functions of Election Commission. We will discuss about the other powers and functions of Election Commissions of India. Okay, we will go forward. Already we know that elections are very important, students. Elections are important for every democratic country. So when elections are conducted, India is a very large country. India is a very large country, population is very large. So all the people cannot gather at a same place and can conduct the election. Okay, there are some countries like Greeks, if you see in the ancient time, when elections were conducted, all the peoples used to gather at one place and they used to select the leaders. Okay, they used to appoint directly in Sparta. But India is so large country that if you wanted to, it is not possible for all the people to gather at one place and select the leader. And that's why the countries where the population is very large, we are conducting the election which is called as indirect election. So in indirect election, we have appointed the responsibility for conducting election, we vested under the control of Election Commission. Before 1990, election commissions are only one. But as soon as due to the increasing of populations and responsibility, the parliament decided to appoint two more election commissions. So overall 3 election commissions today we have. So one is Chief Election Commission and remaining 2 are Election Commission of our country. So we have discussed. I will go forward, children, see here. So Election Commission, already we have discussed this point in composition. Election Commission, okay, this is an independent body. Okay, so this body has a power. So this Election Commission has a power to supervise and to control and to direct the elections. Election Commission is an autonomous body which can take its decisions independently. No one can able to pressurize the election commissions of India. Second thing, election commissions includes even chairman. Chairman means that only Chief Election Commission is the head of all the elections in India. Present Chief Election Commission Sunil Arora was appointed as the Chief Election Commissions of India. We have discussed that election commissions are mainly appointed for 6 years and election commissions can resign. Election commissions removing process is very complicated. For removing the election commission, 2/3 of the member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should approve, and then only the chief election commissions can be removed, or any election commissions can be removed. So that is an independent for elections. Next, come to the point. Appointment, I already said you, most election commissions are appointed by president at central level. Okay, election commissions are appointed by president, but the removal is under the control of parliament only. So president cannot be removed. Election commissions, he cannot act immediately against election commission. He has to depend upon the member of parliament. If 2/3 of the member of parliament approve, then only the president can act. First resolution should bring. A resolution should bring in the parliament, and then only if 2/3 of the member of people should approve, then president can take action upon election commission. I'll go forward. Powers and function of election commission. In the last class we have discussed what the election commissions distribute the functioning of elections at 3 levels: central level, national level, regional level, sub-regional level. And the main function of election commission is to prepare the electoral roll, the list of the voters. So while preparing the electoral roll, sometime he will add the citizen or sometime he will delete the citizen. Then what we have studied in last class, we have discussed in last class about the conducting of elections will be done free and fair manner. That should be conducted freely by government of India, and that should be conducted in a right manner, fair manner. That is one point. Next we will go forward. Election Commission, now next point is monitor. They will monitor the mechanism of machinery of elections. Machinery of elections means the person who are assisting, okay, the machinery which are assisting for conducting the election. Okay, election commission will come closely, they will monitor the situation, whether the machineries are working well or not. Okay, and other department whether they are coordinating and they are working well or not. So everything will be monitored carefully in elections. Okay, that is one point. Second thing, if you see that malpractices means something which is in the form of cheating. So in elections we can find unfair manners, we will say unfair manner. Okay. So, elections must be conducted in fair manner. Already in the constitution also written, elections must be conducted in fair manner. Fair means correct manner. Fair in the sense right manner. Okay, but what will happen? Sometime, most of the cases, elections will be conducted. In elections, we can find malpractices are common. So, in most of the cases, before also there are many cases where in elections we can find malpractices are quite common. So, whenever the election commissions feel that in this election there has been some malpractices, then election commissions can call off the elections or he can postpone the elections. Similar cases we can find in Tamil Nadu. Recently, it was in Tamil Nadu. Election have to conduct. By-election have to conduct. Okay, by-election have to conduct in Tamil Nadu for 2-3 seats. Election have conducted, but later the election commission got information that in this election there has been malpractices has been occurred. Then the election commission have postponed the election. They have cancelled that election and they have postponed the election. In case if the elections are conducted in unfair manner, wrong manner, whenever the election commission got notice, when election commissions will get notice that these elections are conducted in an unfair manner or wrong manner, then election commission has a right, he can postpone the elections. Okay, he can postpone that elections and or else he can cancel the election. This is also one part. Postponing and cancelling the elections completely under the control of election commission. Regarding the decisions, children, election commission can take any decisions regarding elections. In terms of taking the decisions regarding election commission is an autonomous body or independent body. Okay, he never depends upon any other person. Now, election commissions can give suggestions to the president at central level and governor at state level to removal of any legislature. So, member of parliament, for example, if a discussion is going on to remove the member of parliament, state legislative assembly. So, if they wanted to remove the member of legislature at central level, if the members of legislature wanted to remove, so who can give, election commissions can give some suggestion to the president at central level and governor at state level for the removal of any legislative members. Suggestions can be given. Okay, that is also under the control of election commission. So, in terms of the in terms of few matter in parliament also, election commissions can be acted. Election commissions in the form of suggestion, he can suggest to president and he can suggest the governor for the removal of any member who are working in legislature. Now, if you come to the point here, election commissions will conduct elections for Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, okay, legislative assembly, legislative council. Election commissions will conduct at central level. At central level, elections will be conducted for Lok Sabha. Children, the member of Lok Sabha are appointed directly. We know already. Rajya Sabha elections, when it is conducted, the members are appointed indirectly. Okay, most of the member in Rajya Sabha members are okay. All the peoples are appointed indirectly in Rajya Sabha. Directly they were not appointed. Okay, in Lok Sabha the members are appointed directly. Okay, so when elections were conducted at central level, state level, for example, president, okay, appointment of president, appointment of vice president, okay, a member of Lok Sabha at central level, state legislative assembly at state level, member of Rajya Sabha, okay, or member of legislative councils. Whenever the elections are conducted all over the point, elections will be conducted under the control of Election Commission of India only is responsible, because he will conduct elections for central level as well as state level. Even for appointment of president and vice president also, conducting of elections, that is completely under the control of Election Commission of India. Okay, that is one. Next, he will appoint some various posts such as returning officer, presiding officer, assistant returning officer, polling officer. Okay, so returning officer will be appointed, presiding officer will be appointed, assistant returning officer will be appointed, polling officer will be appointed. What are these things? Okay, now returning officers are mainly appointed for each and every constituency. In one constituency we can find one returning officer will be appointed. The main aim of returning officer is to supervise and conduct the elections of that constituencies well, and to see that whether the elections is conducted in fair manner or not. So returning officer responsibility is in the constituency. Okay, it's a large area. Presiding officer, mainly for each and every polling booth we can find presiding officer is the head. Okay, presiding officer is also mainly appointed at his level, okay, to supervise and conduct the elections. Returning officer will be assisted by assistant returning officer, and each and every polls will be there. Polls where the we can find elections which are mainly conducted in small schools. So in that small polls, polling officer is the head of the particular area, center, and he will be assisted by assistant polling agent. Assistant polling agents will be there. So overall 4 peoples will be appointed in a particular room. So the head of that particular room, polling center, will be the polling officer, and he will be supported by DTP operator, and he will be supported by some assistant polling agents. Okay, so these are the peoples who are appointed during the elections. Most of the persons who are appointed during elections, such as returning officer, presiding officer, almost all the officers are mainly appointed from the government agent. Actually, they have no offices. These all officers are working in the other government organization. So these officers are working in other government organization. Election Commission does not have their own offices. Okay, because elections which are conducted for once in 5 years, so they do not have their own offices. So what they will do, they will request the president. On the request of president, all the central government officers and employees will be there. They will only act as returning officer, presiding officer, assistant returning officer, polling officer, etc. They do not have their own staff. Election Commission does not have their own staff. They have to depend upon the other staffs of central and state government. Okay, that is one point. So all these officers which are appointed in the election, there are actually what there are the government officers, central government officers as well as state government officers. So they will assist as a polling officer, assistant returning officer, presiding officer, returning officer. So these officers will be given training. So before only when they are appointed for government job, they will be getting training how to conduct the election. So that's why most of the officers are well trained. So whenever they are appointed, mainly they are appointed from government service. Okay, that is one. Next, come to the point 7. Election commissions act as election tribunals. Election tribunals means sometimes which can solve the problems, which can give their own judgment. I already said to you yesterday also, tribunals are nothing but any one which can able to give the decisions, or a group of body which can give their own decision. For example, court is a tribunal. Similarly, village panchayat, whenever the disputes will arise in village level, village panchayat can act as village tribunal. Similarly, in elections, whenever the disputes will arise, election commissions will act as election disputes. He will solve the problems, such as whenever the disputes will arise from one party to another party, one party and another party, when they will fight, the disputes will be solved by election commission. And sometimes they will recognize the political party, and election commission's one more role is to provide symbols and to resolve the disputes or fights or problem, whatever the problems which has occurred between the two parties, election commissions will solve the disputes. So this is nothing but election commissions can give their judgment by their own. That is called as election tribunal. So children, here we have understand. First one we have seen once again last time we will study. So election commissions will monitor the situation, whether the machineries of the elections are functioning well or not. Election commissions will monitor the other department also. Election commissions will observe whether the elections are conducted in a fair manner, or if any malpractices are happening in elections, then election commissions has a power to cancel off the elections or postpone the election. That is completely under the control of election commission. In a particular area, imagine in a small area, if any malpractices is going on, so election commissions will cancel the elections for that particular area only, not all the area. That is one point. Next, election commissions will provide various suggestions to the president. Sometime not only in the elections, in other matter also election commission has important role. So sometimes if election commissions have to provide any suggestions or decisions regarding the removal of legislature, election commissions can play a very important role. For conducting elections in central level, for the member of legislative assembly, member of Lok Sabha, member of Rajya Sabha, central level, member of either president and vice president elections, a member of state legislative assembly and legislative council, all these elections will be under the control of election commission, but they decentralize the work. Okay, that is not under the election commissions will control all the machinery. Under one person, different machineries will function. Different peoples are working. They during election they will appoint various persons like returning officer, presiding officer, assistant returning officer, polling officer. So all these officers will assist, okay, for conducting the election. Returning officers are mainly appointed at constituency. For each and every constituency, returning officer will appoint, and to supervise the returning officer, okay, assistant returning officers are appointed. Presiding officer also presides the elections, and polling officers are also appointed. Each and every poll center, polling officer will be appointed, and he will be assisted by polling agent. And election commissions act as a election tribunal whenever if they wanted to solve the problems between the two groups of party. Election commissions will take important steps and important decision here. They will allot symbols and all. So children, this is about the functions, powers and function of election commissions of India. We will discuss, and we will meet you in the next class. Thank you very much.